Welcome to the reinvented client experience. Okay, so how you create your new trusted client experience. At this point, you're probably calling from all across the country, and there's different types of openings, and potentially people are actually calling from around the world. I had a webinar the other day where people were calling in from Dubai and everything else too. So wherever you're calling from, thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, the first thing I'd like you to do, because you may not get to it, is download your free business kit, and it's at tanyachernova.com. Oh, it's tanyachernova.com/COVID-19. You're going to see this again. So it's tanyachernova.com/COVID-19. And I'm going to make sure that we send every one of you a little email afterwards with the freebies, okay? So let's just start by taking a deep breath together. And I'm going to show you a different type of breath that I'm going to talk more about when we get into the biology of trust, okay? Let's take a nice deep breath in through your nose. And say, ah, as you breathe out. And we'll talk a little bit more about what that breath is as we move forward, okay? So in business, there are three aspects of success that we always talk about. The first one is mindset. You have to have a mindset in your business for success. The second one is your skill set. And the third one is the systems. So in every aspect of reinventing your client experience, or in business in general, you know, whether you're trying to grow your finances, your sales, whatever it is, it's always these aspects, right? So you're never just going to change one thing. You're going to change the way that you think a little bit. You're going to upgrade your skills and capacities and introduce new systems so that you can automate the way that you manage things. Because when we talk about, you know, creating services and selling products and working in the spa world, but no matter where you are, humans are by definition emotional and therefore inconsistent. That's everyone. We try to be as consistent as possible, but you know as well as I do how difficult it is to get people to do the exact same thing every single day, the very same way, and always be improving without any faults. So systems are there to help automate the things that are non-negotiable standards of excellence so that we can continue to give our best every day. And in this particular case, when we're talking about embracing change, I want you to consider that, you know, this has been such an unprecedented, I don't even want to say the word anymore because we've all heard it so many times, but definitely we've never experienced this before. This has been pretty incredible. And I've been through a lot of crises management in my life. You may have seen in the bio that this is not my first, I'm just going to put myself on video for a second. This is not my first, you know, essentially crisis, right? I've actually worked all the way through the 2009 crisis, the 2011 crisis, and now it's 2020 for COVID in terms of helping salons and spas reinvent themselves. And I'll tell you, we've never seen so many places that are so vulnerable to shut down. You know, and the most important thing for us is that we have to remember that in a state of crisis, you know, I look to the biologist Charles Darwin, who wrote The Origin of Species, where he studied what is it that makes one species survive over another. And the answer is it's not the strongest nor the most intelligent, but the ones that are most adaptive to change. And that's the key. It's like for us, no matter what happens as we move forward, flexibility, adaptability, your ability to say, what can I do? Okay, what do I know? And then move on from there. So what we're going to talk about is basically we're going to review a little bit of client expectations. There's been some research done already, just even in the short time period, and already moving into 2020, where we were looking at what the next sort of decade of success was going to bring. There was already new research in terms of what our clients expected out of us from touch services. Then I want to share with you a few insights, some, you know, from the area of neuroscience, because that's a big passionate study of mine, what it means to kind of go through the biology of trust so that you have fundamentals. I don't want to just obviously tell you what to do, even though I'm going to make some good suggestions. Realistically, every one of you is experiencing something a little different. So if I just give you the psychological principles, you will be able to apply these forever because they don't change, okay? And the last thing we're going to talk about is a really great and juicy topic called buying desire. So increasing your sales and overall revenue using buying desire instead of selling energy. Okay, so as you listen to this, session with me, what I'd like you to do is think about, the three kind of aspects of time, right? The three aspects. So what can you do right now? Okay, so you might think to yourself, okay, this sounds good. Can I do it now? Can I do it in the near future? And is this what's possible for me in the distant future? Like think about also your business in terms of what you're going to do right now, near future and distant future, because for us, it's kind of like, okay, September feels like for, a huge time from now. How do we manage the uncertainty? One of the ways you manage uncertainty is by navigating life with vision. And instead of being reactive and saying, okay, well, let's wait for the second wave. I don't really want to make any decisions with my business right now. I want you to just flip that around and adjust your mindset to think, actually, my strength here is when I'm facing the unknown is to create a vision for success with what I'm going to hear and then move gradually forward. So what do you think your clients expect from you? What do you think your clients are expecting from you? I don't know if you can actually put into the chat anything, and potentially if Jonathan can, this is a drawing tool. I'm trying to think of what I can do here. I don't usually have this much limitation in my capacity to see things. Normally I see all of you and I can chat to all of you, but that's okay. So I know that you're thinking, obviously your clients expect from you the ability to stay safe, that the services and products that you're selling are still going to be up to standard, if not even above and beyond, right? Those are the basic things. But I want to show you something actually that the studies have come out with, okay? So this is not for you to memorize, it's for you to just kind of keep in the back of your mind, because, we think, okay, people are going to be really understanding that with COVID, you are literally turning yourself inside out as a business owner, trying to go through 15 more steps to make everything clean and whatever it is. But I'll tell you actually that the average statistics say that 54% of clients have actually higher expectations for customer service than they did even a year ago. So post-COVID, I think what people are going to definitely be looking for is they want you to know, okay, they want you to tell them what you are doing. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second, but just so you get the statistics, 54% of clients have higher expectations, and 66% even higher than that from ages 18 to 34. So your new segment of young consumers are even more picky, or even more demanding. So it's going to be more important than ever that we start to automate certain things and really systemize a lot of what we're doing and have tighter meetings with our staff, etc. Okay? 52% of people expect replies on the service and feedback comments. So what does that mean? It means that if you already have, for example, an automated email that goes out after a person's left your building. So if the client has left, usually there's a thank you so much after you've checked out with your bill for visiting our spa. Please review us on Yelp, etc. I would highly recommend that you actually disable that for the next little while, because people are going to be going through a really big transition. And instead of sending that particular email that automatically goes out with review your experience, let everyone know how great it was, what's important is to actually distance that a bit and turn that into a 3 days later email that says, how are you feeling? Checking in, want to make sure that your experience was wonderful. We're still new at this. We'd love to, keep growing and having you come back together. It's exciting, etc. And I'll talk a little bit more about that after. But also, people now are going to be a lot more comfortable reviewing you on digital. People now are going to be a lot more comfortable writing you on social media. So they really do expect replies to any of their concerns. So it's really important that now more than ever, we become a lot more aware and responsive, okay? 89% of businesses are expected to compete strictly, like mainly and strictly on the quality of the client experience. And for our industry, I think that that's so key, because you know what? certainly it's kind of a really strange industry, because in many ways, if you give somebody the menu of service, you know, basically we have skin treatments like facials, we've got manicures and pedicures and massages, and even though they have their own flavors and, you know, different aspects and different brands, I mean, it's still kind of like, for them, you know, facial, manicure, pedicure, it's still the basics. And to your clients, each and every individual product is kind of like a cleanser is a cleanser and a toner is a toner. And even though you have magical peptides in your serums, like, they don't really know or are able to really distinguish the difference, especially just from the packaging alone. We're going to have to become much more creative at making our environment and our ambiance and using the senses that we have available to us, like the music and the lighting and the textures, be extraordinary. Now, in the meantime, obviously, there's no waiting area. There's a lot of things that have been, you know, removed just for this, you know, initial comeback. But thinking of the distant future, I want you to start really thinking for yourself that it's become a lot more sterile to have these, you know, touch services, right? It's like, how do you create great customer service in a touchless kind of senses as they keep growing with you? And ultimately, there's not going to be a lot of patience for, you know, for loyalty. So in the short term, the polls that I've taken are, you know, how likely are you to go and visit a new salon? Or people that I talked to out of the hundreds said, no, I'm going to go back to my original place, even if I wasn't thrilled with it, just because I'm scared to go and see a new provider. But of course, as the reviews come through and more people are going to, I bet you anything, I can tell you honestly, that there's going to be a new standard review, be specifically, concretely, not just about the experience, but the safety, the standards, etc. So, you know, you might even actually create a new scorecard for yourself in your business with your team to look at how you currently evaluate your customer service experience. So one of the ways we used to do it is, how did you enjoy your service? I loved my service. It was amazing, right? Okay, loved the service. You know, did they purchase something? Okay, did they rebook? Like, those used to be our key performance indicators. But now, you know, we might add a few more key performance indicators to our service that really help us understand how comfortable our clients are feeling. And we can talk a bit more about that in the biology of trust. Okay, so if you have any questions or anything, definitely make sure that you type them in the chat. Okay, so one of the ways that we kind of measure it, you know, customer experience and customer service is obviously, how do we feel? And you as a consumer going out into the world, that's exactly how you measure it, right? Like, did I get what I want, right? That's like, yes, I got my coffee, for example. Yes, I got my facial. Yes, I got my, you know, manicure. But how did I feel? That's even more important to people. They don't know if they just got the world's greatest facial or the world's kind of most next to greatest facial, but they know how they felt in the circumstances. So because we're kind of reintroducing ourselves back into the world, I want to show you a few pictures I've taken just from walking. I live on, you know, King and Bathurst in Toronto, and this is a downtown area. We have salons on every street corner. So this is one, you know, hair salon that does some aesthetic services, that's just on Queen Street, just where I'm around the corner. Okay, so on their door it says, "Do not enter. Please wait outside. Call to enter." Oh, sorry, I put the salon's name on there. "And let you in shortly. This space is regularly disinfected." Like, if I was to ask you how you felt reading that, I would imagine that if you could speak to me, you likely would say alarmed. I personally look at that and I think, do not enter. Yeah. On the scale of 1 through 10, how welcome do I feel? Like, talk about a 0. So I don't want to criticize any of these places, because I feel like people are, of course, always doing the best they can, but because you're brilliant and you're here and you are taking advantage of upgraded training, clearly this is one approach, okay? The next one is another company that's just literally 3 doors down, and you know, this is again a sandwich sign sort of outside the space. You know, clean beauty just got a whole new meaning, so they're making it a bit tongue-in-cheek, right? All spa staff will be wearing masks. We encourage you to do the same. All customers must sanitize hands upon entering. It doesn't really say whether or not it's provided. So I kind of think to myself, well, what if I don't have any hand sanitizer? I mean, most people do now, but we're limiting the number of clients in our spas and staying 6 feet apart. All spa locations are deep cleaned and thoroughly sanitized. All products have been sanitized and available upon request, because I guess we can't touch them. And then cash is not accepted at this time, okay? So as I'm walking past, I guess what I'd like you to do is measure on the scale of 1 through 10, how welcome do you feel? Certainly better than the last one, right? Then this is another one. Actually, this was a client of mine that took the Buying Desire course, which I'll talk about at the very end, but this was at the very beginning, and it's interesting because a lot of people are writing this like as our new normal. But is it really the new normal, or is it just what we're doing to get back, right? So it says, with your safety as well as the safety of our team in mind, please take a moment to read through this before your appointment and partner with us to keep us all healthy, right? Beautiful. So, and again, I'm not judging any one of them. You can choose what you like, and I can make these available, but I'm not going to read through all of them. I'm just going to give you some ideas of what your client hears, okay? This was a hair salon. We ask that you arrive with your hair washed and dried before your appointment with no styling products in your hair. So already as a client, I think to myself, okay, if I'm coming to a 5-star salon experience, why would I personally want to, you know, wash my hair in advance? Like, is it really necessary? So I want you to just ask yourself in terms of, you know, the biology of trust and customer service and the whole 9 yards, you know, everything that is being suggested out there, is it really necessary? Okay, that is definitely not a necessity. What's necessary is that you don't actually speak while you're getting your hair washed to spray the person in the face. So there's a totally different way that we're going to approach that in a minute. So it says here, arrive only, come alone to your appointment. No friends or family members will be allowed to accompany clients receiving an appointment. Arrive only with your personal electronic device and a form of payment. We prefer that you don't bring a jacket or any other personal belongings. If you must, bring it in a shopping bag. You know, you can hang it up on the rack at the back of the salon. Like, you can start seeing, it's like, oh my God, I am like starting to feel a bit overwhelmed a little bit. Like, wow, this is a lot of stuff to remember as a client. Okay, so please come to the salon with your mask. If you don't have one, you can purchase it for $2 or whatever. You know, please arrive 10 minutes prior and wait in your car. You know, your service provider will ask you a series of health screening questions. As a client, I'm like, well, what are they going to ask me? I have no idea. Like, what does that even mean? You know, and then this type of thing. So it's important for us to understand, like, as people are reading whatever you're publishing, okay, whether it's newsletters or, you know, a sandwich board outside of your salon, a sign, anything, wherever you're posting anything, you really need to ask the number one most important question: how do they feel? So the mindset, I think you're starting to get it, that we need to be in order to reinvent a trusted client experience is most importantly empathy. And you've heard a lot about empathy over the last couple of years now that we've been talking about understanding what the client's going through, right? But in this particular case, and I'll tell you a little bit more when we get to the biology of belief, really just, okay, compare it. Is there a way to make me feel better? And then you have to set an intention in your mindset around this. Like, what is your intention? How do you want your clients to feel? You can't just say good. Like, that's not enough. I want my clients to feel loved. I want my clients to feel welcomed. And I want my clients to feel appreciated, right? I want them to feel loved. That's just my personal energy. You might want them to feel special, right? Whatever you want to feel, it just can't be good. And certainly it can't be overwhelmed, alarmed, or any of the other things that you saw in the previous, right? So here's what, again, like this is one of the clients that went through my Buying Desire workshop at amazing Salon Monzer in Oakville. So amazing. What's great is that you have an opportunity to speak with your client through printed and digital materials now. So the mindset is empathy. Okay? The skill set that you need to get really good at is communication. So now read this one. We're excited to see you. Welcome back. Thank you. Because if the first one was do not enter, right? I know none of you are going to do that. Like, imagine how I feel, like I'm panicked, right? This one is we're excited to see you. Welcome back. Okay. And just as for your health and safety, don't make people read a ton. They're already overwhelmed. And what I really encourage you all to do is use icons. And in the resource guide that I showed you at the beginning, so it's tanyachernova.com/COVID-19. I'll send you the email with that. The icons are really awesome. You can get them right from Canva. I don't know if you can see it with my pointer here. Like, I love this. The ultimate me time. Please come alone to your appointment. Not don't bring your family with you, but the ultimate me time, which is what spa is supposed to be anyway, right? Come to the salon with only your necessities. Pack light. It's like, this is great life advice, right? Spa, the ultimate me time, pack light. We've got it all for you, right? Feel free to bring your own beverage, right? And hot, cold, it's perfect. For the time being, we're not able to offer refreshments, right? And that's the thing. You don't want to say serve you, but it's like, feel free to bring your own. And I love the icons because your subconscious mind loves familiarity and inspiration. So your conscious mind is what's reading the text, and that is stressful. Like, sometimes you're reading and reading and reading in a daytime experience. You're like, oh my God, I have such a headache, like I can't anymore. Overwhelm comes from reading a lot, trying to memorize. But when I look at icons, I'm like, this is so great. It's like fun. Okay, please be right on time. Your stylist will meet you at the door. Right? Come to the salon with your mask already on. If you don't have one, one can be purchased from us. And they've actually brought in a gorgeous line of designer masks, which, as you know, are completely everywhere now. It's great. And then instead of saying we're going to ask you a series of health questions, which is like, what do you mean? You know what I mean? I'm terrified. People, I don't know if you've noticed this, but in the street, no one's even coughing anymore. Like, no one's even, nothing. They're not even clearing their throat. Everyone's so terrified. So it actually gives the questions straight away, okay? And it says, Health Canada requires us to ask these 4 questions. That's it. So make it really easy for people so they can even self-assess. And look at this. This is the best part. Meditation hair wash. Right? Take time for yourself. Close your eyes and rebalance with a moment of intention while we wash your hair. And you're welcome to bring a book, because you can't have magazines, right? You're welcome to bring a book, your personal device, a journal to write in, or even sit back and watch the view. And then last, it says, we love you, but we can't hug you yet. And then it has their professional philosophy, their beauty and wellness philosophy. Discover your beauty with intention and balance. Now that's prestigious, right? That is beautiful. That is so well done. As a client, it makes me super duper excited. I'm looking at this, I think, you know what, this is great. So it's really important, okay, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more in terms of what to do, but that you at least understand, like, how do I feel? So if I ask you, like, you'll see this is what's called the circle of influence. And this is a cognitive behavioral model, okay, of psychology, which shows us sort of what begets what. So if I was to ask you, okay, I felt a certain way after reading it. If I said to you, what do you think comes first, an emotion or a thought? You would probably say thought. Because normally if I say, what do you think comes first, an emotion or a thought, people go, oh yeah, an emotion comes first, because that's what you feel. No, it's like you're fine, then you read something like do not enter or be careful or caution or whatever, you know, or you see nothing. You're like, is it sanitized? Is it not sanitized? Like, what's going on? So it's really important for you all to now practice, you know, the skill of communication and see yourselves as thought leaders. Your client leaders, your thought leaders, you are guiding your client through their entire experience. And I want you to think about it kind of like a yoga class. Okay, so there's the vinyasa type of yoga where like you get into the yoga and the instructor is calling the movements. And the instructor's not just saying, okay, get into downward dog. The instructor says, put, one hand and then with your left hand this and press your palm to that and your foot into the, like you ground down and take a deep breath. Like the instructor, let's take a deep breath in. The instructor is calling out every movement for you as the receiver so that you can just suspend concern and surrender to the experience. I want you to consider something very similar and how wonderful it feels to just surrender and know that someone's hand holding your experience, okay? So whether you send something digitally in advance, which I recommend you do. I recommend that you don't just send like an updated form, but also a video, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But like really having beautifully framed signs, sanitized, not just like stickers, or definitely never something that's just printed out and stuck somewhere, but like gorgeous frames that you've invested money into at HomeSense or wherever. Even Walmart has beautiful things, okay? Put them throughout the spa, and put affirmations like I am safe and protected everywhere I go. Don't just say this has been cleaned, obviously, right? Then it makes me feel like everything else should be having that same frame. But like, give people a way to think, give people a way to feel, right? So your measure in this is putting something down and saying, okay, how do I feel? How do they feel? And if it's good, it's not enough. You need to feel like amazing, loved, special, relieved. Like it's got to be something more than that. Okay, so a thought creates an emotion. So their inner thoughts create how they feel, anxiety or relief, and the outer thoughts, like the news and what you tell them. So you need to consider that your client has to, think about, okay, do an exercise with your team, like write down all the things that they might think that might worry them based on the clients that you know. Take your most paranoid client, right? Because it's all about bringing back people who are not the ones beating down your door. I'm not talking about the ones beating down your door. Those people don't care. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like that person with travel. The minute they open travel, I'm out. I don't mind because I feel secure within myself. But there's a lot of people, a lot that are not coming out for a while. How do you get those people? You really need to speak to them and help them understand, like, it's okay, to the best of your ability, it's safe. But see, it's a different tone of voice. So put down all the fears they have and then think, how am I going to address these? Not in a customer service clinical way, but it's really important that you use the skill of speaking with your client, not at your client, which is how we've done it previously in our newsletters, okay? Thoughts create emotions. The way they feel creates actions. So if your clients are not booking, my friends, it's because they are not feeling reassured enough to take the booking action, and you want them to feel relaxed and comfortable all the way through. So what do you need to do in order for them to feel like that, and then take action accordingly, and then of course have the result that they come, enjoy themselves, okay? And I want to just let you know the statistic that prior to this whole experience, over 62% of the people that lay down in massage said that it took them at least 20 minutes in a full hour to get out of their head before they could finally receive and enjoy the massage. That's a lot, right? So, okay, before we get to this, I want you to just consider, okay, in the biology of trust, since I can't have participation, I'm just going to tell you what they are. I want you to think about the fact that, we're really kind of now, of course, in all of COVID, post-COVID, but always in customer service, we've always been managing the 4 greatest fears, okay? So if you were to take all the greatest fears in the whole wide world and put them into 4 categories, people, human beings, you, myself, your clients, okay? Everyone's afraid of failure to some degree or another. We're all afraid of rejection, like failure. We don't try, right? What if I get it wrong? And that's what I'm saying. Like if you had that big rules thing with like a ton of information, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get it wrong. I'm going to screw it up. I'm going to do something. And you know, Canadians are already gigantic apologizers. Like don't make it harder for people, right? So make it like super simple, simple, simple for them to succeed, support their success, right? So rejection, it's like, what if I, you know, ask for something and they say no? Or what if there's a service that I want, but it's not available until phase 3 and we're only in phase 2, right? How do you respond to them so that they don't feel like they've been rejected? It's like, oh, you know, can I get like a quick facial? You know what? We are so excited to give skincare treatments. We are anticipating that in the next phase, and we can put you down on our VIP list to call you first thing versus, I don't know, they're not telling us anything. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to perpetuate that kind of concern. You've got to have a plan for how you're going to make people feel amazing when they ask you things, okay? Obviously, everyone legitimately is now afraid of death in terms of like, what if I get it? What if I get sick? You know, and that's why over communicating, don't take anything for granted, like talking people through to say, you know what, please have a lay down on the bed. All of the sheets have been perfectly sanitized. In fact, for the meantime, we've switched to disposables, but they're biodegradable. Over communicate. Do not be afraid. And guess what? If your therapists, okay, English potentially is their second language, or maybe your clients' English is their second, third language. If you feel like you don't have a team capable enough, which is fine, okay, because they're wearing masks and it's really hard, as you know already, for them to say things, adding to the mask issue, then just have it on like a welcome notice. Or when you walk into the room, it's like, you know, sheets of freshly sanitized just for you, right? So, and the last one, which is what makes people most concerned, okay, is the unknown. Really, it's uncertainty. And you feel that fear as much as anyone else does, right? What if we don't do it right? What if our clients, you know, get mad at for some reason and just say, that's it, I can't take it, it's not clean enough, or whatever it is enough. You know, what if they accuse us afterwards, you know what, I got sick and it was from you? Like, you know, you are risking a lot as an entrepreneur right now, and potentially as a spa director. So, you know, you have all my sympathies, like honestly, like I really am, I'm with you here. It's not easy. You have the toughest job because you want to make people feel really comfortable when you yourself may not be perfectly comfortable. So what you need to do is really understand that communicating the vision, you know, letting people know what's happening next is really important, especially if things have changed, okay? So for example, if they come in with a mask, but then they have to kind of take it off because you're maybe doing lip wax, you have to let them know what is going to happen step by step before it happens, so they don't get freaked out and you're talking down at them like this with a mask when they're lying down and vulnerable, okay? Just don't do it. You've got to be having a conversation. So I hope this is helping and that you're getting something out of it. What I'm showing you now is actually in, again, the biology of trust, is a neuropeptide that is excreted from your brain, okay, as a like it's a type of hormone that's actually excreted from the brain from the hypothalamus by the pituitary gland. I'm not going to get too technical, but it's really important that you understand that the breathing that we did. So take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale. Okay, take a deep breath in. That ha vibrates your vagus nerve. And the diagram I've got for you here where you see 1, 2, 3, it's actually one vagus nerve, and it's running through your entire body, actually, and it hits every single organ, which is why stress and fear actually tenses the vagus nerve. Like, think of it like a guitar string getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. It's really, really stressed. And then looser and looser and looser makes you feel so relaxed. So when you're stressed, you feel like you want to throw up because the base of the vagus nerve is actually in the pit of your stomach. which is why I say that ha is so important as an actual exhale where you can vibrate it, because most people, when they get really anxious and stressed, they want to throw up because it's ha, but you know, with bits in it. Okay, and that's ultimately the key, is that you have to, you know, just calm. And as you do it, oxytocin starts to get released, and oxytocin is your brain's natural biopharmaceutical that relieves anxiety. It creates what's called tend and befriend instead of fight and flight. So, you know, if you weren't doing it before, please introduce oxy breathing and breathing in general. Like not, you know, but like it's like you're in a field of beautiful flowers and you have no allergies and you're just like luxuriating in it. Okay, a joyful breath. Oxytocin is also the love hormone. So if you fall in love with someone, it's actually not love, it's oxytocin. Don't go to Vegas just yet. Stick to the vagus nerve. Okay, lots of jokes that I can make about this, but you get it. Okay, so lots of like 2 deep breaths before they start the service, or deep breaths before they leave, breaths before they pay. Just make it as pleasurable as possible in a touchless economy. This is how you still create the highest level of service. Okay, so I guess I really can't figure out what you were saying here, but I just want to review a little bit. Okay, so the mindset is in reinventing your trust, you know, centered client experience. The mindset is, of course, adaptability and empathy. Really just how do they feel? Like what worries them the most? One thing you might want to do, okay, before I wonder how I can get rid of this screen sharing. Let's see. No one can see your screen, but you can see me. Okay, hopefully that's the case. Is there someone who can maybe let me know, someone like Lena or something, if you can see me?
Hi, Tanya. Yes, your screen is now stopped sharing, and it's just your beautiful face.
Ah, you're so kind. Okay, perfect. Sorry that I'm not. There we go.
No, that's okay. You've gone back to screen sharing again.
I have I? Okay. And what can you see up here?
We can see your PowerPoint presentation in edit mode, and now it's in the presentation mode.
Okay, and then now it's not. Now
it's
you can see me,
here.
right? Okay, good. Just checking. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay, so what I'd like to share with you is that, okay, the mindset is empathy. And the one thing that you might want to do, especially if you're not, you know, if you're not fully overwhelmed and receiving clients every minute, one of the things that would be helpful for you to do is to have a client survey go out pretty much anytime, right? And the client survey, and again, if you download the, you know, business reinvention kit that I've given you, like I'll give you the tanyachernova.com/COVID-19. We'll send it out to you. But in that, it just gives you a guide in terms of how you can use SurveyMonkey or other survey tools to take a survey. It's like, how comfortable are you coming to the spa? You know, what are some of the greatest concerns that you have? What would be some of the services that you'd like to see? What are some of the things you've noticed in your skin, body, health that you'd like to address? Like really getting a chance to be able to have a conversation with your clients through the survey. That's if you're a very large spa, like if you're, you know, if you've got like 35 plus estheticians, and, you know, if you're smaller and you feel like you can call your clients, call your clients. Nothing makes you feel better, okay, than knowing where they're at when you call them, and just have the same kind of standard 3, 4, 5 questions, you know, in order to be able to call your clients when you are surveying them, so that you can get a chance to understand how they feel, what's still bothering them, do they have reservations, okay? Like right now, price discounting, which I know many of you are not doing, is not gonna cut it. Like that's not what they're looking for. They're looking for reassurance, okay? Even though it would be obviously nice to get a deal, but value added versus price discounting would probably be smarter, because again, in the evaluations or when we took client surveys, you know, if another place was offering it cheaper, would you switch, you know, spas now? Like the majority of people said no, because they value trust over discount at the moment, which I'm sure you do too. Okay, so the skill set is about communication. So communicating just more lovingly, more human, getting out of that customer, like that whole kind of like really structured way. Be more like speak with your client, not at your client, okay? And the last thing that we're going to do is talk about systems, okay, and automating a little bit more how you manage your client experience. I'm just going to go back to my client share, or my screen share. AJ, can you see if anyone's writing any questions, or if anyone has any questions that they want to ask while I'm...
Hi, Tanya. Absolutely. So first of all, I'd like to apologize to both yourself and to the attendees. We had a major technical issues at the start of this presentation, and I'd like to thank both you, Tanya, and all the attendees who stayed online and on the call until these were rectified. You are all fantastic people, and I really appreciate that. We have actually had one person put their hand up, and I'd like to open for Q&A if that's okay with you, Tanya.
Yeah, perfect.
So, Jackie, I'm now unmuting your line. Please go ahead with your question.
Oh, here, I'll put my face back on. There we go.
Jackie, you're currently unmuted. Do you have a question for Tanya? Seems like we can hear the background sound for Jackie, but unfortunately we can't hear Jackie herself. If anyone else has a question, they can either raise their hand using the raise their hand feature, which is located on the GoToWebinar dashboard, or alternatively, please feel free to send a question through the question box. I note, Tanya, that Catherine has actually said the information you are providing is excellent and on point with the focus on how we want our clients to feel. We've actually had another couple of comments along the same sort of line. Thank you for the support. These are really good points, Tanya. One question that has come through, and I believe you and I can both answer this, Tanya, is how do we get the resources that you've asked for? I'm more than happy. I will be sending out a recording to all attendees and registrants of this webinar today. And on that email with the link to the recording, I will be more than happy to send any of the links and the email contacts that you have, Tanya. You've provided some really great resources, and I would definitely like to forward your contact details and your presentation details to the attendees today. So that will be available to all registrants after the webinar in the next few days. I'm just seeing here.
Okay, I just want to let you know, I still have like a few more minutes of content for them. So just in case I'm happy to take questions, but I just want to make sure that I wrap it up to give you some strategies as we move forward. Excellent.
Well, look, I will go back on mute then. We don't have any questions at the moment, and I will just do a final once you're done. Thank you, Tanya.
Thanks. Okay. So you know what? Listen, we all know that everything happens. So what are we going to do? But I'm really grateful that thank you so much, AJ, for apologizing, and all good. We're gonna make this right by everyone. But I'm gonna give you a chance to see that link. And you know what? You're gonna see my email in the link as well. If you have any questions or anything like that, just by all means, you can write me directly. So I'm gonna share my screen because I want to show you something else. Okay, so when we talk about the systems and automation, this is what's important, okay? I want you to, this is fascinating. And you know what, I have to tell you, I'm really, really, really excited to share this next piece, okay? So, because this is what's gonna take your business and help you create your business of the future. This is a really big passion of mine, and I'm so excited to share it with you. So the typical client journey is what we've been offering for years and years and years. When we talk about what is the client journey and what our clients go through with this, the traditional client journey starts somewhere around the booking. Okay, they've made an appointment. Usually there's either a email confirmation or potentially somebody calls or texts them. Then your clients come in and they check in with the front desk. And they're welcomed in. There used to be a waiting area, an inspiration lounge, a relaxation lounge, They usually go to the change room or the washroom. They eventually enter the treatment room. They go back to the washroom and change room. The retail area is at the very last, which is one of the problems that we face, okay, in terms of how do we increase our retail. We tend to leave our retail at the very end, which is a really big issue. I'm going to let you know, because I've done most of the research I've done over the last 20 years that I mean, 30 in this industry, but 20 that I've been really working with salons and spas to increase their sales, has been in and around how do we create more buying desire rather than trying to sell people at the very last minute before they leave. And the typical client journey ends when they check out. So this looks very familiar. What we've experienced through COVID is that this typical client journey has not been available because our clinics and spas have been closed. So we've realized, okay, the crisis may not have broken your business, but has definitely revealed the cracks. So where the opportunities lie is that you have an opportunity to reinvent this client journey, which I've actually lovingly done for you as well as I'm going to do with you. So I want you to consider this question, and I want you to ask this question when you get back to your spas and ask your team, when do you think your client's journey is over? When is your client's visit over? So this appointment, so I've had a facial, I've had, you know, a manicure, a pedicure, whatever I've had, when is it over? So I don't know if you can either type in there or just for the, you know, kind of interest of time, I'll give you the typical answers, okay? Typical answers. It ends when they pay, it ends when they leave, it ends when they come home and wash their face for the first time or their hair, it never ends, it's always, you know, the client journey is forever. And I'm going to let you know that there is actually a scientific answer for this, and it's that your client's appointment ends when they come back for the next one. That means that if I've had something done at your spa or a salon or your integrative health clinic with chiro and physio, it's all the same thing, Medi-Spa, is that one of the things we've had always traditionally problems with is thinking, hang on a second here. Hang on a second, here we go. Can you still see me? Everything's fine, right?
Everything's great.
Great, you can see my face. I'm so sorry. These are like such different controls than normal. So one of the things that we have trouble with is thinking beyond the room. You may not, but your staff definitely thinks, okay, like, bye, it was great to see you. Thanks a lot. Next client, you know, and that's the thing. It's like, we're always saying like, sell more retail. And it's just like, they think, okay, what are you using at home? But they don't really ever take accountability for the person that's in their room and what they're taking home, because they think that the appointment is over when they leave. But in actual fact, their appointment is over when they come back and the new appointment starts. So we have what's called between now and then, that is this phenomenal mindset paradigm shift that I want to share more and more and more about with you. And it's led me to create this phenomenal new client loyalty journeys, which is like an infinite client loyalty loop. And this is exactly what's been missing in our industry, you know, since the beginning of, you know, internet essentially, but now especially necessary, because if we do go through another wave, you need to be able to say to yourself, your clinic might be closed, your spa might be physically closed, your business is still open, right? So how are you going to reinvent this client journey? And I'm not going to overwhelm you with this, but I'm just going to let you know that in September, I've actually closed all my boot camps now for the summer because they're all running. But I started running like this buying desire boot camp as soon as COVID started, because people were at home and a lot of the salon and spa owners jumped onto this and were able to reinvent their online journey in our boot camp, which was amazing. They went from 0 sales to like 6,000 in a week because they were able to organize themselves, you know, using the technology and stuff like that, and all of the phenomenal tools that I can't wait to share with you. So you'll see here though that there's an on-site journey and then there's an online journey. And I know you have some components of that already, but you need to really think about mapping it out step by step so that you can understand how you can, like what I want to teach you really is how to take a one-time client and turn them into a lifetime client, you know, and so that you can really still nurture them and coach them. So if they do not if, but when they buy products from you. And I know that Elena Zinchenko, our fabulous chair of the Leading Spas of Canada, is an expert at all of, this sort of thinking beyond the room, because she and I had a lot of the same background experience, because when we were both in our 20s, even though we look like we're in our 20s, I'm just kidding. But we actually worked for the same spa in Winnipeg, and that was owned by my phenomenal mentor mother, Anna. But Elena is definitely an expert at understanding how to think beyond, today's journey into the lifetime journey of a client. But you'll see that the home care discovery, when you kind of learn more about this course and, later on and through the summer, if you want more information, when you download your business reinvention kit, I'll send you some things to just think about through the summer, and then you can, consider joining me in September for the new courses. But the home care is actually going to start at the beginning, because the studies show, okay, before COVID and especially now after, that people are more likely, like 80% more likely, I have the statistics in another presentation, but they're more likely to buy things that they feel they need ahead of the arrival than they do after. And I know this is like really different, because we think we do the service, they want to maintain the results at home. But in the future, I'm going to let you know that because your products are so active, it's actually that we used to think we get renewal in the treatment room and the products are home maintenance. I want you to, again, shift your mindset paradigm and think that your home care products are actually continuations of treatment. And then when they come back to the spa, you can take them even further and higher, because you need to ask yourself, like, if they can pretty much get every single thing online now, including, a lifting and a brushing and half the stuff you do, including high frequency, what use are you? So you need to get even more inventive. So again, this is sort of an insight to the business of the future when it comes to spa. And, this new model solves the deeper issues we were facing prior to COVID, this infinite loyalty loop, okay? Number one, your stylists or therapists were always afraid of being seen as salespeople, and many of them lack the confidence to proactively and consistently lead the sale, okay? So selling is about the pushy energy. Buying desire is about pulling people in where they're like, I want that, I want that. And, with many spas and salons offering the same services, right, 90% of major professional brands are now sold online, how are you differentiating yourself as a destination brand, right? So this loyalty loop completely solves this problem. And the other thing we faced as a persistent problem before COVID was that with so many salons and spas offering discounts, it becomes harder to attract and retain new clients without falling into the discount trap. So how do you overcome that? And again, this type of work, with the infinite client loyalty loop really helps you. So I want to give you a few strategies to do right now, in the right now present moment. So we kind of talked a little bit about your mindset of empathy, as well as now you've gotten a peek into innovation, right? The paradigm shift of, online as well as on site. Your new understanding of communicating so people feel loved and spoken with, not at or to. And the third one is understanding how you can, or where to automate certain things. And that includes having signs, having, like beautiful, like pieces of, you don't want to touch anything, but like beautiful signage that really makes people feel excited, with like logos and icons that make them feel happy and not terrified. Okay, like a big thing with an X through it. Don't do those. Okay, so first and foremost, if you are a premium quality spa and salon or integrative health clinic, please don't just send them an email and say, hey, we're open. Please, as the owner, make a video. Like this is not hard. I'm sitting right in front of my computer screen. I'm looking at the little black dot. Think about the client that you love most, that you would hate to lose most. Think about your most paranoid client, the one that's just loves you but may feel worried because they have health concerns, like they have lung problems, right? Talk to that person. Let them know, like, we love you, we care about you, or at our spa, we've always held to the highest standards. Like, this is a very intimate, a very, sincere communication. This is not, I'm not reading a script. You have a few talking points. I'll help you if you need it. Just email me and I'll send you one of these prep scripts. but really you gotta give them a little welcome back video, and definitely if it's only like 30 seconds, right, what you're doing. And the key is that if you've done a lot of changes to the spa, make sure that you take a walking tour with your camera and talk them through what the changes have been. It's like, okay, this is how we're going to welcome you back to the spa, everybody. You're going to walk in. We've got a sliding door now, or you can take it with your hand. There's an antiseptic right here. This is what's happening. You know, your front desk person is no longer at here, or she is there, or he is there. Like, what's happening? The unknown is terrifying. They're scared of failure. They're scared of rejection. They're scared of death. Fix it. Make sure it's easy for them. Take the tour. Like, nice voice, showcase any new improved offering you've added, show how you're keeping the space safe for them, let them know you're excited. If you're all wearing masks, which you should be, one of the spas that I work with in my Buying Desire course, they've instituted a new way of greeting the clients, which is jazz hands. You can't see me, but I'm going to just show you now, which is with the mask, it's like, ah! So they're like really excited to see everybody, and instead of touching them and hugging them, it's like this, like this, like this, you know what I mean? So that people still feel human touch despite the fact that we've been, you know, sanitized a little. And the other thing to do, I'm just going to turn back my screen. Okay, great. So if you are listen, if you're not doing skincare treatments yet, which I know we're not particularly open for, but this is, if you're doing elaborate services, through the mask is really hard to talk, and it's really hard for the clients to manage you too. So don't make it uncomfortable for them. Let them know that for all services that are, you know, skincare treatments, etc., new programs, book your product routine reviews on Zoom or Skype, and create a vision for the future with your clients around their face, their health, their whole pillars of wellness. I'm actually the World Wellness Weekend Ambassador for Canada, and it's an amazing weekend where you get to open up your clinics and spas and welcome people to discover, you know, new information, how to take care of themselves better. We have a link on the Leading Spas of Canada website, so you can register for free. So it's kind of like you now need to be a wellness advisor as well as a provider. This is a great time to start online consultations. They're at home. They can show you all their skincare. They can feel free to talk. They can show you right up here their pimple or whatever they're worried about. They can talk more about, you know, their body treatments. It's amazing. Like, do it. This is the best way to do it. And I have a really great process for that. Again, we can talk more about that in September. Okay, here's the free guide. I'm going to just share with you a few more things. So you're going to do the welcome video. You're going to make the little sign that I showed you at the beginning with all the lovely icons, okay, in terms of how to get people to behave a certain way when they come see you. You're going to do, and where are you going to put this? You're going to put it on social media. You're going to put this in your confirmation email. You're going to put this on your pre-arrival email, letting them know you're excited to see them. And then afterwards, I really recommend that you, instead of do quickly review us, you just barely left the building automated email, please get rid of that thing if you can, just for now, okay? And then 2 days later, okay, 2 max 3, like 2, you know, how are you feeling? That's the subject line, or it's like, you know, we miss you already. And even on the door as they walk out, the sign, we miss you already. That, like, really, if you can't touch people, if you can't be face to face, if you can't do any of those things, eye contact, the breathing, those small things make it just significantly signature experience. And then they'll love you, as I do. Okay, so, oh yeah, one last thing is, here we go. Okay, so the Grow and Succeed, so the Buying Desire, you know, course that's starting again September 14th. So you can mark your calendar. If you, we'll send you the email with the information. Okay, you can go on my, you know, kind of landing page. It tells you all about it. But the Buying Desire course is all about how to reinvent that client journey and actually have, you know, the process of wanting to buy what you sell be injected in every stage of the client journey so that you are not relying solely on your staff, okay? In the old way, we used to be like, okay, esthetician, please sell your client products. In the new way, and I'm here to show you this new way with gusto and passion so you can create your business of the future, your clients want to buy products from you all the time. They want to know what they're doing with treatments. They are absolutely going to be merciless with results. The younger consumers in their 20s now are doing all kinds of things that my generation didn't do until we were 40, so it's really important that you start to understand what the business of the future looks like. And I'm just, so excited to handhold you through every single step of the way so that you can continue to thrive and be a leader in the world of beauty and wellness. Thank you so much. Oh, we're at 1:30. We started at 12:30. We ended at 1:30 on time. I'm so sorry that I went over, but we had to deal with what we had. So thanks again.
Actually, Tanya, there's actually been a question that I personally would love to hear the answer to as well. The answer is, the question rather, what do you think about creating completely front deskless spa and all the transitions online? Only product displays and product advisors available.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Absolutely. I mean, you don't like checking in. Like, think about the airline industry. We look to best practices. Anytime you want to do something that you consider new for your business, look around, because people already are doing it in other businesses, right? So, when I go to like any kind of food service provider, I can definitely just do my online version of checking in. There's always going to be the early adopters that are just, they immediately, like, I'm a person that goes to the grocery store. I don't really buy, even if I have a really big cart, I kind of just check myself through because the lineups right now are crazy, right? So I don't want another human being because I'm faster myself, but I'm okay with that. There's always going to be those people that are just like, nope, I need a human. I need a human. That's okay. So as long as you have somebody there able to assist that person, by all means. But I want to just share with you that all the things that you're going to change, because I do agree that you should definitely take those resources and put them towards something different, right? Like product advisor or host of the experience, like host of client experience is better than just front desk, right? So, the thing is, you also have to just understand, okay, what is my beauty and wellness philosophy? Who is my target consumer market? And how do they want to be treated? Like, it's kind of a bigger picture, but absolutely.
Thank you so much for that input, Tanya, and for the presentation today. Everyone on the call will be sent all the resources and contacts for Tanya that she's generously given us today. And to everyone on the call, I would strongly suggest you register for Tanya's course starting in September. She's given us just the tip of the iceberg today, and we all know how fantastic the presentation was today. So really get behind that, ask her some questions, and get on that course in September. Tanya, from Leading Spas of Canada, we wish to thank you for your time, and to all the attendees, thank you for joining us today. We look forward to hearing from you soon.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.